So today agenda would be, guys, to configure your management IP, to configure your license part, and then we will talk about network part. So when I was discussing about F5 product, big IP, in this we are covering your load balancer, which is called LTM. So your load balancer can be deployed in hardware. Your load balancer can be deployed in your virtual editions, and your load balancer can be deployed in cloud. And the operating system which is used is TMOS, that is called Traffic Management Operating System. So when I was talking about hardware modules, in hardware there is a model number which is been used. So many of the models are been end of contract, end of support. The latest models which we have is I series and R series. And I was showing you how to check the data sheet. So these are the models which you have. So if you see right now, when I talk about F5 big IP software can be deployed in hardware so platforms, virtual editions, and cloud. Okay, when I talk about series, here you can see what are the latest R series models which you have. That is 2000 R series, 4000, 5000. And you can see the data sheet because this is very critical. Most of the time, since you are from operations and implementation team, you don't require data sheet, but you should know what are the models numbers. Because if you know the models number, your interviewer or when you are attending your customer, they will know that you have a good knowledge on your F5 product. It gives you all the details. How many L7 requests can be handled, how many L4. So when I talk about load balancer, that is called LTM, it can be deployed as your layer 4 and layer 7. So most of the companies prefer only layer 4 load balancers because they want to load balance your HTTP applications, or I can say web applications. So that is why you use HTTP or HTTPS, and that operates on your layer 7 load balancers. You have all the hardware links also. Like what was the oldest model which we have? What is the end of software support, hardware support? You have everything related to it. Now you have latest models. I'll show you this I series will also get, if you see, your I series will also get end of software support in 2026, and they will be hardware product end in 2031. So people ask me how much F5 is in demand, which operating system is in more demand, which model number is in demand. So F5 will remain in demand every time because this is the company which adapt with latest technologies. Now they have introduced R series, which are called next generation load balancer. You have seen next generation firewall. They have integrated with Kubernetes, Terraform. So you need to be careful on that part. This is very, very good link. Now I'll show you. You have R series. They are latest. So if someone asks you which model you have worked in R series, you can tell 2600, 2800, 4800. Don't need to cram it, just remember few of the models number so that interview can know that you are working in your F5 production environment. Okay, that was about hardware models. Now, when I talk about in a load balancer, how in a company it's deployed. So just 1 minute, I'll draw a topology so that I can tell you when you go to any discussion part, What should be your approach? That I've discussed in previous class, but some people were new. So I will discuss about the design part, how you can design your F5 load balancer in your production environment, guys. And we will configure a new F5 from scratch today. When I talk about load balancers, so load balancers are generally deployed in your DMZ environment. That is a separate zone for your web-based application so that it remains segregated from your internal zones. So guys, let's say I have one application called Sianets.com. This is your HTTPS based applications. I need to deploy this in my F5. Customer says, hey Vidit, I have got a requirement, a project. Okay, you are my implementation engineer. I need to deploy F5 load balancer for my company. Okay, Vidit. So first question what I'll ask. Anyone can tell me first question when this is the requirement. So this is live scenario, guys. I will discuss every live scenarios. So there are 90 scenarios which I'll be covering in this training. So first scenario which comes into picture is, hey Vidit, I have to deploy load balancer in my company. So first question I'll ask, whether this will be hardware or virtual editions. First question which I'll ask. Second question, how many applications will be deployed? Very important question. How many applications you want to load balance behind a load balancer? Third question, guys, whether all will be web-based applications or it would be layer 4 applications also. Fourth question, if it is web-based application, whether it is HTTP or HTTPS. Very, very important question. And if it is SSL based application, then you need certificates and key. So SSL is a separate topic which I'll be covering. Fifth question, how many, once they confirm, let's say, hey Vidit, I have to configure 10 applications. So you need to ask about the domain name. Because when you access your web-based application, it is accessed through HTTP or HTTPS, and you have to configure domain name. F5 works on IP, load balancer, but you have to configure DNS name. So these are the few basic questions for first class when you deploy load balancer from scratch. Now, sixth question, which will be, now you have asked all the questions, you got the requirement. Let's say I have to deploy Sianets.com. Now, first thing, what you will ask from F5? License part. You have to purchase a license plus support. So when you purchase or when you call F5 that, hey, I need to purchase I series 2800. So they will ask you how many applications will be deployed, how many SSL based application will be deployed. So they will give you license accordingly, guys. So they will give you license, first thing. Second thing, guys, they will give you support contract. What does support contract means? Very, very important, guys. Support contract is an F5 support contract where, let's say, you face some issues and your L1, L2, L3 teams are not able to troubleshoot. So you open a case with F5. That is called a vendor support contract. It should be valid. If it is not valid, then you will not able to open an F5 case. Very, very important, guys. That is a prerequisite. When you purchase a license, you should have a valid support contract. Now, seventh thing, You got a license, you got a support contract, and you got a hardware in your data center. Now you need to place it. So I will place this in DMZ location. So how my traffic flow will be, guys? Someone from internet, let's say I am Rishikesh. I am multiple user, let's say client 1, client 2, client 3, client 4. They want to access application hosted in this load balancer, let's say sianets.com, and it is listening on port number 80. So they want to access. So how you will configure? What are the prerequisites? So guys, there is a firewall which is coming, there is a DMZ switch which is coming, and there is one internal switch. These are L2 switch which are coming into your production environment. This is all production environment, guys. If you understand this diagram, 20% of your traffic flow you will understand. So this is very critical. So in a firewall, you will configure outside, which is connected to internet. One is your DMZ zone and one is your inside zone. Let's say this is Palo Alto. So Palo Alto works on your zone-based firewall. So you have outside zone, you have inside zone, and you have DMZ zone. So your load balancer plus your applications, web server. Can you see this web server? These are all in your DMZ. So load balancer works with your, so you have client, simple logical diagram. You have F5, then you will have servers. So that is a logical diagram which you need to follow. Simple diagram. When you want to load balance your application, Sianets.com. So you have to deploy. uh, so in this case, what your requirement would be logically, this is called your web servers. Why you need a web server? Let's say you have cnets.com. This is accessed by 1 lakh users. So you tell me, guys, if you don't have a load balancer, will this only one server will handle your load? No, guys. Right now you are accessing google.com applications. Will you think that it is hosted on one server or it is hosted on multiple server? Please confirm. When you are accessing google.com application, is it hosted on one server or multiple servers? Anyone? So guys, it is hosted on multiple server. I told you on that day, if you don't have your load balancer, what will happen? Let's say without load balancer, you only have client, you have an ISP router, then you have firewall, then you have server. Okay. In this case, guys, let's say you want to have multiple clients who are accessing your application hosted on server. So what does server means? Web server, some people say. Some people say app servers. Some people say DMZ servers. So guys, these server are nothing but these servers are hosting your original application. Google.com, Sianets.com. They are hosting your original web application. Simple. Server are nothing, but it's a combination of your web application with port number. When you get a Google page, from where you are getting? From this server. Some people say web server, some people say application server, or some people say servers. So servers are nothing but It is one of your logical or physical servers which are hosting your web applications. Load balancer is just acting as a middleman. So in this case, what happened, guys? Let's say I have multiple client, 1 lakh users wants to access Sianets.com. You have only one server. What will happen if it goes down? Customer says, Vidit, I need 24 into 7 availability. I don't care. I'm paying you. I want 24 into 7 availability of my application. Will it serve? No, guys. Firewall is not a load balancer. Even you configure multiple servers on firewall, it cannot get load balance. Second thing, guys, they want redundancy. Third thing, guys, they want scalability. Performance should be good. So that is why a device comes into picture, load balancer. So in a diagram, it will change to client ISP router, which is an internet router that is shown here. And then it will be your firewall. Then it will be your DMZ switch layer 2. Then it will be your load balancer. And then it will be again a layer 2 switch between load balancer and your web server. Then you have switch. Then you have multiple servers. This is a logical diagram. What is an advantage, guys? Even if this server goes down, your application will be live. That is the main use of your load balancer. It will give you 24 into 7 availability. So there is a mechanism comes in load balancer that is called load balancing algo. By default, we have round robin. We will learn in a basic way. If your base is strong, guys, you will able to clear any production environment issues, or you will able to deploy any implementation. Also, you will able to clear interview. So you need to understand why load balancer came into picture. What is the advantage and how it is deployed. So there are two things in this scenario we are discussing. Why we need a load balancer. Second question, what is LTM? Third thing, how load balancer should be placed in your network. Placement of load balancer. This answers I'll discuss. I'll ask you after this class. Don't worry. I'll not leave you. You have to be very, very careful. How load balancer placement should be there in your net. When your firewall is there, what are the things you need to open on your firewalls? Now we understood where the load balancer is placed, why we need a load balancer. Now, what are the things you will do on firewall? In firewall, you have to configure 3 zones. Can you see there is an application server? There is a web server. So in live environment, guys, it is not mandatory that some of the servers needs load balancer. Some of the servers might not need load balancer. So that is placed in your inside zone. Here, if you see, this is not connected with your load balancer. These are your two load balancers. One is active and one is passive. So you have application servers where you don't want load balance application. These are simple application which don't require load balancer. So you have placed behind a core switch, and this is your layer 3 switch. Now, if you see this, guys, load balancer is connected to DMZ switch, but layer 3, can you see? One interface you will configure on firewall. You have your this network 10.10.2.0/24. So one of the IP you will assign to firewall interface, and one of the IP for active, one of the IP for passive. So how it will be? Your firewall interface IP you have given 10.10.2. For load balancer 1, you have configured 10.10.2.1. For LB2, you have configured 10.10.2.2. Then you have one more interface for internal. And there is floating IP. Floating IP use I'll tell you when we will cover HA. Basically, guys, why we need a floating IP? Floating IP is needed when you have configured HA. So it is the same IP which gets flowed between two load balancers. Can anyone tell me the logic of floating IP? Let's say I'll tell you the scenario. You have these servers and you have gateway defined as this. So you have this network on 10.10.3.0. Now your server gateways are 10.10.3.1. Okay, this web server gateway in your case is this one, which is hosted on your F51 instead of floating IP. What will happen if this box goes down? You will face total outage. That is why we should always place a floating IP as a gateway. We will, even this goes down, this will become active. So this will get active in this box. If this goes up, this will become active. This is very, very important. Why we need a floating IP? This will be asked in your interview. Even when you configure HA or when you give exam, they will ask you difference between floating IP versus simple IP. Okay, so in this diagram, guys, this diagram is very, very critical to understand your flow. Why we need a floating IP. And when I talk about layer 2 switch here, what would be the server gateway? Server gateway will be floating IP pointing to your F5. So traffic comes from internet. In firewall, guys, what you need? So you need two things in firewall. One is policy and one is netting. When I ask you policy, what would be the source IP? So let's say in F5, there is a concept of virtual IP. Virtual IP is nothing but it is the front end IP address, guys. When I will discuss little more on F5 architecture, F5 is called a full proxy, or when I say about load balancer. So what will happen, guys? There will be one connection from client to F5 and one connection from F5 to server. So when you configure a load balancer, there is a concept called virtual IP that is very, very critical. This is called your listener IP address. Without listener IP, your F5 is denied device. So by default, load balancer is a denied device if you don't have a listener. So listener is nothing but, guys, your FQDN, domain name IP address. It is the front end IP where client connects. So when I talk about F5, F5 is divided into two networks. One connection will be from client to F5, that is called front end connection, and one IP will be F5 to the server, that is called back end connection. That is why it is called proxy device. And anyone can tell me whether load balancer is a reverse proxy or a forward proxy, guys? Anyone? When I talk about your load balancer, these devices, whether it is forward proxy or reverse proxy. Very, very important concept. So F5 load balancer is reverse proxy device. Why, guys? What is difference between reverse proxy and forward proxy? So if you say that F5 is a reverse proxy, your answer is correct. Reverse proxy means that someone from internet wants to connect from application hosted on internal network. Traffic coming from internet go into inside network, or internet coming to inside your server. They want someone from customer side wants to connect your application hosted on inside. This application was hosted on inside network and someone from internet wants to connect. So that is called reverse proxy architecture. What does forward proxy? It is opposite. An example of reverse forward proxy is G-scaler. It is opposite. What is the use case, guys, of forward proxy? Someone from inside. Let's say you are inside user sitting on company network called Oracle. This is your company. You want to connect to Cricinfo, ESPN cricinfo.com. So that is called your forward proxy. Someone from inside wants to connect to internet and they want to access your website. So it is a URL categorization device or URL filtering device. And it is in huge demand, guys. Nowadays, with F5, if your skill Zscaler or any of the proxy, I'm not saying Zscaler, then you are in huge demand. Your F5 also you can configure forward proxy. But please remember, guys, you should always use as a best design. You should use hybrid devices. I can say that load balancer is also acting as a firewall, but I will not use it. I will use a specific firewall. And guys, this firewall, some people says perimeter. That is a correct. And this sometimes you have internal firewalls also between your F5 and server that can also be done. Perimeter firewall is means it is hosted in your perimeter level. So you will have separate firewall, separate switches, separate proxy device, and separate reverse proxy device. So the whole infra is called your big IPF5 design deployment. In firewall, I was talking about virtual IP. Let's say I configured one virtual IP called 192.168.1.60 that I've allocated in DNS with Sianets.com. And client is sitting here and name is Radhe. Now Radhe wants to connect to this virtual IP and this is your internal IP address because it is in inside network. Now there will be netting for this. Let's say netting is done with 1.1.1. So first in firewall you need a NAT. And what is this NAT? From public to private, anyone? When I talk about public to private network, what is this NAT called? That is called destination NAT. Public to private. Second thing, what you need to open policy, because firewall don't allow by default anything. In policy, what would be source IP? Anyone, guys? When you open a firewall, firewall works on your policy. In policy, you have to configure source IP, destination IP, and port number. What would be the source IP? What would be the destination IP? And what would be the port number? Let's say it is listening on 443. Let me understand your answer. Source IP, Vinod, excellent. Any destination will be your virtual IP. Excellent. And port number is 443. Very good, guys. Source num is any because it is coming from internet. Destination will be the web IP address, public IP, and port number is 443. Very good, guys. So from this deployment, guys, you can understand how firewall is placed and how load balancer is placed. Now, guys, this is basic design deployment, but how to deploy? Let's come into the practical part. When I talk about our infra, our lab topology, guys, we will have F5 virtual edition. Okay. So in this case, I will need to import or download OVA image. So from where you can go, it's simple. I have that image. If you want, I will share. I have already shared. You need to go to downloads.f5.com. I will tell you. You just need to select my downloads link. You have to log in. So my email ID, I'll log in. Very, very important, guys. This step you need to understand whenever you need to upgrade also. Don't worry if someone is not able to download, you can download this image. I'll show you this 12. I'll show you how to upgrade also. So don't worry on that part. You can download by this image and import it and start the lab. I'll show you how to upgrade to latest. So there is a code which will come. I'll just open my email address, just 1 minute, then I'll share my screen. So you will get one code. That is important because if you understand how it works, you will be very good in that. So I'll show you just 1 minute. Now you will get a code here, guys. This is the way. Once you register, there will be a code. You just copy it and you need to enter here. So I'm showing you how to download F5 image because we are in virtual edition. So we need to first download OVA image. Why we need OVA image? Because we will be doing every lab on VMware workstation. My laptop is Windows 10, so I'll be using 15. You can use 17. Sometimes, guys, in 15, if you are in Windows 11, 15 version cause issues. If it is working fine, then it's okay. Otherwise, suggestion is 16.2.3. If you are not able to find this image, use 17 also. It will work. This was about workstation, but we have to download. When you download your VMware workstation, you have to use OVA images to do lab. And my first task is to download F5 OVA image. So I'll just go here. I'll click next. Here you will need to select product family. Our product family is big IP. And we need to use latest image, big IP 17. Version, here you need to select 17.1.1. Now where you need to go, guys? Latest one is either you can use 17.1.1.4 but we need to always use in production stable. So right now stable version is 17.1.1.3, guys. In your production environment, if you want to suggest what is the operating system you should use, you can use 17.1.1.3. So here you can go, you can see virtual edition. Just click on it. Then you will find one OVA image. I have this image already downloaded. You can download. Just click on it and select Singapore. So first you have to select 17.1.1.3 virtual edition. You have to see the extension called OVA. And image size should be 2 GB. And it should be for VMware ESXi or server. That is the image we should use it. If you are Linux or CentOS, you can use this. For your EVNG, you can use this, but I'll do all labs on my VMware workstation. So I'll just go downwards and start downloading. So it will start. I have already an image. This is your first requirement, guys. Second requirement is download RGB servers from this website which I have shared. You can ignore this PHP. You don't need PHP auction website as of now. This is for WAF. You need RGB server, your XP image, and this image. If you're not able to download from that website, you do it this one, and I will share you in Drive that 17 image, and we will show you how to upgrade. So don't worry on that part. It's not like that you are going slow or fast, but this is the prerequisite, so don't worry. So in this case, what will happen is, so you got it. I hope you have taken the snapshot. 3 images are required. First, F5 OVA that you need to import on VMware Workstation. I will show you next. For Windows 10, use VMware Workstation 15. For Windows 11, use VMware Workstation 16.2.3 or 17. You have to download OVA file, XP image, and RGB server. If you are not able to download from this link, that's it. Now, let's go. Our lab topology, I will show you. So you will have an F5 virtual edition, that is OVA image. So you will have 4 interfaces which will come by default. That network part, anyways, I'll discuss later on, but I will tell you. First one is management. Second one is external interface. Third one is internal. And fourth interface would be your HA interface. So management interface, I'll be using Vimnet 8. Okay, and I'll use the segment called 192.168.137.0. I will deploy management AP of F5 from this network. Your internal interface I'll use as Vimnet 2. That I will show you, but you please note down this IP segment. And this will be 10.2.2.0/24. HA interface will be your Vimnet 1. So these are your NIC interface or Vimnet on virtual edition. I'll show you. And this segment, I'll give you 10.1.1.0 slash 24. And external, I'll be using it with bridge, means from with my Wi-Fi network. And my Wi-Fi network is 192.168.1.0 slash 24. Okay, guys, please take snapshot of this. One will be your management network. One will be your external network. One will be your internal network. And one will be your HA network. Four interface comes by default in F5. So first task is to configure management IP to make your device live in network. Then we will discuss further thing. So you can take snapshot. Later on we'll discuss. So there are four interfaces. So I am binding with your virtual interface that is called Vimnet. Vimnet 1, Vimnet 8, Vimnet 2, and Vimnet 0 that is bridged. And that is segregated with your F5 interfaces. So Vimnet 1 I have allocated to F5 HA interface. Vimnet 8 I have allocated to management. Vimnet 2 with internal and Vimnet 0 with external. That's it, guys. Okay. Next thing, how hardware looks like. So this is how your hardware looks like when I talk about F5. This will come as your hardware series. So this is how we discussed hardware interface. Now I'll ask you one question here. Let's say you are sitting in Mumbai and you have to configure F5, this box hosted in Singapore. What would be your first task? You need to make this device live in your network so that you can access from Mumbai location. What would be your first task? Anyone? You are in Mumbai and your F5 is hosted on Singapore. Customer is in Singapore. You have to configure management IP. What would be your first task? Please, I would expect this answer from you. This is the live interview scenario question which will be asked. When I say live scenario, please note down, it's important. Where I say live scenario, it means this will be asked in your production environment scenarios, or it can be asked in your interview. Because people asked me to cover interview scenarios also with training side by side. So what would be your first task? First task is to take a console. So you will plug a laptop and you will need to connect to the console cable and configure management IP. That is your first task, guys, which you need to operate. Very, very important, guys. So you will ask your data center engineer to plug a laptop. Okay, that would be your first task. So once you get a laptop screen, you will configure management IP address. In our case, I will use, because it's a virtual edition, I'll be using this network 137.60 or anything. I will configure this IP as my management IP of F5 because we are in virtual edition. Okay. Now, next task, guys. This is how your approach should be when you come across your F5 configuration from scratch. You will configure management IP. So I was discussing previously, please note down this thing. When I talk about F5 load balancer, there are two ports. One is management port for management traffic, that is called control plane. And another plane is called your data plane. So for management activity, there is a separate segmentation. For data plane, it will be a separate. So data plane means virtual server, processing of traffic, pool member comes under this. And what is the operating system we are using? TMOS. Okay. So how to configure management IP? We have taken the console. Now I will show you live. I have the image already with me. This is the image. Okay, just 1 minute. I'll stop the screen and I will just give me 1 minute. I'll show you how to import it. So guys, this is you just double click on this big IP17, and after that you will get into this screen. Double click, just that's it. You have to download this VMware workstation. I have my Pro, and you just need to import there. Double click. Once you install, first task is to install VMware workstation. That is the first task you should use. Once you get VMware workstation, you have downloaded OVA image 17. Just double click, you will get into this screen. By default, you can keep 4 GB RAM. Just import. Because I'll show you one thing more. If you have a good RAM or a new laptop, there are two scenarios. If you have a new laptop with SSD, then you can use 4 GB RAM. Your F5 lab would be successful. If you have, let's say, 2 years old or 3 years old laptop or 4 years, then use 6 GB or 8 GB RAM. But if you have SSD, then you can use in that also 6 GB. If you don't have SSD, then 8 GB RAM. It depends, 4 GB, 6 GB or 8 GB, because we will use only load balancer. It does not take more space. Okay, these are the two requirements. You can see if it is working with 4 GB. If it is not slow, work it. If you have SSD with good RAM or new laptop. If you have old laptop, then use 8 GB without SSD. Without SSD, you can use this. With SSD, you can use 4 GB or 6 GB depending on your laptop, whether it is old or new. That is the first requirement. Now, I shown you how to download image and how to import. Now I'll go into next step. Just 1 minute. So it is still getting imported. Let it get imported. Meanwhile, I'll show you one thing more. I hope everyone has got the license. If not, guys, please get it. That is the first requirement. So 1 minute, I'll share you the screen because it is getting imported. You can also import if you want with me. Same thing you can do. Just double click and do it. Because this lab setup is critical. If you get it, I have not shared my screen, Subramaniam. I will share it. My images are getting imported. I'll share it once it's get import. The next step I'll show you after that. So now I will share. So this is how your image will be. By default, you can keep your interfaces. See, four interfaces are there. Network adapter 1, 2, 3, 4. And memory, processor keep it default, hard disk keep it default. Nothing else you need to change. Just this screen you will get it. Big IP 17.1.1.3 all VMware. Now guys, first thing is you have to configure management IP. So management IP I have assigned to Vimnet 8. I'll show you the network path of virtual edition I'm talking about. Right now I'm not doing anything on F5. I'm all talking about virtual VMware workstation. So how I'll configure? I'll go to edit, virtual network editor. So here it is. Can you see? Vimnet 8. You assign Vimnet 8 to NAT. As of today class, just assign Vimnet 8 as NAT device for management IP and subnet will be 192.168.137.0. Vimnet 1 to host only. The same thing which I was discussing. And how to give an IP? Just go downwards and this is how you can give. When you give Vimnet 8, just map to NAT, select NAT and tick mark this, both tick mark and IP address and subnet mask. So subnet mask for everyone is /24. So /24 means 255, 255, 255.0. Okay, this is the first. Vimnet 1 would be 10.1.1.0 with this 255.255.255.0. And here you need to select host only instead of NAT. Vimnet 2 also. If you see subnet mask, it will be 255.255.255.0. And I'll just go to change settings. It will show me all my bridge network also. So these are the four network. It is used with my Wi-Fi network. In your case, you can give your Wi-Fi IP or SSID, like Wi-Fi name. What is your Wi-Fi name? For me, it is Intel Wireless dual band. You can see on the description part when you go to Wi-Fi name. So these are the four interface that I was talking about and I'm showing you live now. So first interface, Vimnet 0, and it is assigned as bridged. You don't need to give any IP. It will automatically take IP from Wi-Fi network. Second interface, VMnet 1, that you have selected host only, and that you are mapped to 10.1.1.0/24. That is for H. Third interface, VMnet 2, that is also host only. Give it 10.2.2.0/24. That will be used for internal network. And last one is VMnet 8. That is for NAT, management IP. And segment is 192.168.137.0/24. So you can take snapshot.
Okay. Now, guys, in your case, might be you are not getting this network. How to add it? You can use it from here. You have to make sure you have 4 interfaces. Name can be different. If you're not getting only one network, you can see, you can add it from add network. Add network. That's it. This is how you can add it. You have to add 4 NIC interfaces. That is important. Now, if you add this, you will get this 4 interfaces. Now, guys, basically, here you need to take care. You have assigned that network interfaces. Now you are assigning to F5. So first interface I will assign as NAT. Second, I'll give VMnet 1. Third, I will give to VMnet 2. And fourth, let me use bridge. So this is how your network interfaces will be. So there you assigned layer 3. Here you are assigning that NIC cards to your F5 interface. This is your F5 machine. That's it. See, in your case might be, I'll tell you the logic. Here, your F5 interface, your F5 interfaces, MAC address that I'll show you how to see, should match with MAC address of VMnet interfaces. That condition should be there. It is not for your live network, but in this case, it should match in virtual edition, not in hardware. There is a condition, F5 address, MAC address should match with MAC address of this. Some people will say, with it, sir, my management IP is not coming up. Maybe in your case, in my case, first network I have assigned as management because MAC address of my F5 interface of management is matching this. Maybe in your case, second network can be NAT, third network can be NAT. So how to see MAC address of virtual this? Just you click here. So here I'll just show you. You select NAT and go to advanced. Right now it will not come because this machine is not started. First I'll just select NAT, host only, sorry, custom. Because I need to start, then only you will see the MAC addresses. I'll show you VIPNet 2 and bridge. Then I'll click OK. Okay, now I will power on these machines. Just enter, let it come. So someone was also facing this issue. One of the person faced this issue. So it is happening on 17 version. The power VMware tool power on script did not run successfully. If you have a custom power for, you can also submit. So we need to check it why it is happening. So instead of time, maybe I'll take this in queue and I'll check it. First, I'll show you how to configure. Let's troubleshoot this error because I think there is an option you need to configure on BIOS. So I will just power off. Just let's wait. If it's get started, otherwise we will see. Just few minutes I will wait. Meanwhile, guys, same thing you can turn on 12. If you have 12 version, if you 17 version is okay, then it's okay. Otherwise, we will troubleshoot this in Q&A session. So just 1 minute, I'll stop my screen. I will just try to stop that and I'll show you in second image. I have both the images. I am doing one changes. I will show you if it gets successful. Just 1 minute. Because problem is sometimes the newer version is not compatible. The same thing you can face in your other compatibility issues, maybe in VMware 15, 14. Like that's what I was showing that maybe that particular version might not be successful somewhere else. So now I have done some changes. Let me see if it start. But before that, it is not doing it. We will troubleshoot. I have one more image that is called Big IP 12, which I have shared. I'll start this. This image also I can upgrade. So I have already this image. That is why I told you even 17 version is not working. I'll show you how to upgrade your 12 to 17. That is the another alternative. So let me start this. Okay, just 1 minute. Maybe because I changed my settings, so might be that is the case. Just give few minutes. So it has been started now because that was causing issue with big IP 17. It was not issue with 12. So Pele and other people use the image which is I've shared in Google Drive. Use this 12 image. Then I'll show you how to upgrade. So once you need to upgrade, you need to download this image, ISO. For upgrade, you have to use ISO image. This is the image. So you use my image 12, okay, in your VMware workstation. Then we will upgrade from 12 to 17. Use this image on your laptops. 12. Then once you use this, turn on and download this 17 ISO image that is used for upgrade. This alternative we will do. Same, select it, Singapore, download. Okay, it has started it. So let me go into my F5. So now see this. You can see the page. It should come like this. So by default, guys, username when it is initial is admin and admin. This is for GUI. And if you have to use, because initially you will be in CLI, it will be root. Okay, so let me log in. And then I will show you how to configure management IP. So it has been starting now. It might take some time. So first command, how to configure, guys. You got a console. This is how you will get a console. First thing, you have to configure management IP. By default, it has one management IP in hardware that is called 192.168.1.245. This is the default management IP in your F5 by default. But we have to assign it into 192.168.137.60. So how to configure management IP, guys? So command to configure management IP is this one, config, CONFIG. You just need to enter this in this mode. So I'll enter CONFIG. So this should give me command line utility. Because it is starting, don't worry, it can take some time. So this is how you will get your management utility. You need to configure IP address, net mask, and gateway. So my net mask is 255, 255, 255.0. IP address, I'll give 192.168.137.60. So this is the step. Now I'll click OK. So do you need to configure IPv4 or IPv6? I will say IPv4. Now, do you want to use automatic configuration? I will say no. Now here you can assign. Just use of tab. Click, hope you will be inside. Click your mouse inside it, the screen, then it will, then use tab option in your laptop. I will say, okay, I want to use this IP. What would be the subnet mask they are asking? I will use 255, 255, 255.0. Press OK. Do you want to create a default route? Click yes, leave it default. Okay. So what it is saying, system management connectivity would get lost because you are changing management IP. I will say yes. That's it, guys. This is how you can configure management IP. You turn on your machine. You have given the settings of your VMnet 8. You assigned IP address on all your VMware interfaces. Then you get F5 machine, command prompt. You need to enter config.
This will give you a configuration utility. So let's wait. It will take some time. Then you just need to access through GUI. So when you want to access through GUI, this is the IP address HTTPS 192.168.137.60. Through GUI, it should be accessible through HTTPS. So now guys, uh, it's taking time. I'll tell you how to get 30 days free license. Since your connectivity might take time depending on, I'll tell you again how to get 30 days free license, because next steps in your first task we have done, we have configured management IP. Second task is we need to activate the license. Many people have got the license already with them, but if someone has not got it, how to get it? I'm telling last again. You just need to have F5 30 days license. Click on product trial. We are using Big IP Virtual Edition. Big IP you can ignore. We are using this model. Get the free trial. Here you will click. You have to log in or register. Whatever, if you already have signed up, make sure you use your company email ID and company address and the PIN code to get your license quickly. If you're not getting, then you need to email them. I've shown that process. I've shared you the link in the group. You can check. See, my box is also come up. Management IP. If it is reachable, means your F5 is up. Your management IP is done. It takes some time. Don't worry that it's not working. You try to ping from your command prompt. If reachable it's there, sometimes your GUI takes time. So I will go ahead with this. First, let me tell you the license. Just log in. I have already logged in from with it, because here you can create your account and use your email ID.
Back to sign in. I'll use with it. Sign in. You will get OTP every time because they have two-factor authentication enabled so that no one else can take your access. So I got it. I will just see 4639. I'll enter. Now you will see like this trials. Click on trials because I already have the license. I'm not getting option, but you will get one option called big IP. You will click on start free trial like this because I already have. Can you see this? I'm already having, I got the license. Some people will get license on both email and portal, but everything works fine. First, you will get on portal. Like this, you should see, and status will be active. That's it. Once you click on this, it might take time, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to get your license key. Like this page you will get. Don't worry, it will take some time to refresh. You can refresh it again. If it is not showing you, refresh it again. So it will come on email also, it will come on this portal also. See guys. So one important thing to note here, one license is valid only for 30 days. So by default, when you register for get free trial license, you will get 2 license keys. Without license, you cannot proceed further on F5. No application will work, no configuration you can do. So one key is valid for 30 days. So my valid, this license key will expire in 26th. Let's say today someone is getting registered, 10th of November. Very important thing which I am telling. Your license will get expired on 9th of December. First key I am talking about. You still have one key more left. But guys, if you try to use it after 9th December, this key, you will not able to use it. You need to make sure that before first key get expired, let's say 9th, you have to set a reminder on your mobile to renew your F5 license on 7th December with another key so that it is valid for more 30 days. First 30 days, then you will get plus more 30 days. So 60 days you can use it per one email ID. You can use same email ID for another request, but initial 2 license key, how you can use it. Make sure before first key get expired, use it 2 days before of 9 December, let's say 7th December. Use another key and reactivate. I'll show you how to use second key. But this is the logic, how you can use 2 keys for 30 days plus 30 days, 60 days. Okay, very, very important. Now, guys, here you will get it. This is how you will get. This is how you get your big IP virtual editions. So how you will see the key, you will get multiple keys, big IP, big IQ, and big IQ, but we are focusing on big IP virtual edition. This is how you get a key. And you have to make sure you copy one of the key to activate. Just copy it and we will go now. So here you will select and download latest image, install your software and copy the appropriate. This is the 4 steps which you need to follow to make sure that F5 is properly licensed. Okay, I copied. Now I'll log in. My management IP is up. I'll go to admin. Username and password is admin by default. Username is also admin and password is also admin. Just log in. For my case, don't worry, you will see everything by default because I have configured whole F5, but I will do one thing. I'll take one of the machine in next class to do network setup. Don't worry on that part. I am able to log in through CLI and GUI. You can check it. You can take putty and check whether you are logged into CLI also. You will see this status. And where you can see your license part. System license. Let's do one thing. I have a key already, okay? I will try to delete all the configuration. 1 minute. I will do from scratch everything here only. You can ignore this step. In your case, you will not get this screen which you are in. Only you will see this with license part. In my case, in your case, you will get this. This screen should be coming in your case. Then I'll show you how. Meanwhile, let me delete all the configuration because my F5 is already configured. Actually, my student had a paper 2 days before, so they were attending this. So I was helping them to show you some use cases. So they both of the students have cleared the paper. So one was having on 7th and one was having on 8th. So both are now F5 certified. So just give few minutes. I'm deleting my whole configuration. Only take care of this license key. License key is one box per key. You cannot use in another box. Once it's activated, use it. Then make sure before it is getting expired, use another key and reactivate again for 30 days more. Now I have removed it. Let's see how it should come. So it is asking for password change. I will change. So once you log in, you just need to save it. It will ask for changing of password. So it is saying that it is too short. So let's do another thing. I will enter another password because in newer version, it sometimes cause issues. So I will say admin. So it will ask admin because sometimes it does not take dictionary words. That is what it is showing. Let's see what we can. See, it is saying that it is too simplified. So I will use something else with it. If you forget this, guys, then you have to reset. So you need to be taking care of this very much. Okay, it has taken like my name at the rate some year, like I have given with it at the rate 2024. You can give your name at the rate year, might be your year of birth, like this. This is very important to note. Password should be your name at the rate you can give with 2020, 2021, anything. So my password is changed. Newer version pass they will ask for password change initially. So my login is successful. Now here is everything. This is the screen you should get, guys. This is what I wanted today. I'm not sure how much license you got it, but after today class, I want this screen before next class. I will show you license today only because I don't want to delay so that you can do it in your free time. Okay, so just click on next. Because my license is already applied. Can you see? My license will get expired on 27th of November. No problems. I will use my key again. I'll show you because I wanted to show you everything from scratch. So how to reactivate? Let's say your license is there. I'll use another key. Just 1 minute. I will use this. I will copy paste and I will click new key like this. This is the key you just copy and paste here. I am seeing one good option now that there is an option of unassign also showing. It means you can use in another machine or VMware workstation. That is a good thing if that works. So you can deploy one more VMware workstation to get it used. Let's see. So see, this key I can use. Maybe I'll share to you, one of you. You can use it and try. If that feature works, then we can help each other, guys. Even after using 30 days, and before 30 days, they're giving me unassigned. So that I can use in another box. That is the new option which I am saying. So I will copy my license like this. I will paste in base registration key. Then I will click activation mode. There are two modes, automatic or manual. Automatic means F5 needs management internet connectivity. F5 should be connected to internet. In most of your production environment, it is not like that case. So you should use manual. Now next, because automatic there is a condition that it should be connected to internet. You select manual, just click on next. Same way guys you need to do today. You get the license key and do it because I've given you enough time. Yesterday also I've given and 1 week before also. So I would expect you should do now. So it will take some time. Let's see. Now it will restart my services. Once license is getting activated, it will restart. Even in production environment, when you renew your license or when you activate, you should do in maintenance window. So continue. Now guys, you will see this screen. Just copy Control A, Control C. Just go to click here to access F5 licensing server. Just paste it. Next. Just accept the terms and condition. Now you will get license key Control A, Control C. Just apply on license. Here. First you copy this dossier, go to this, and then you accept the terms. Finally, you will get one license key. Control A, Control C, and paste. Click on next. Now it will take some time, few seconds or minutes. Now license activation final process is going. You can also see here that all the processes are getting started. even on your this machine also. Now it is showing in offline state. It will come. This is on the console. Now if you see guys, license has been applied. I'll go here. See, today I applied. My expiration date will be 10th December. Now you need to make sure I need to set a reminder in my email or my mobile that I need to use my next key before 10th of December so that I can get 30 days more extension. Very, very important, guys. So I will click next. Now, next part is resource provisioning, guys. Where I need to configure LTM, guys. Here it is very, very important. People, some people want to use WAV, that is another module, LTM and GTM in one box. So you should have a license with all these features. But in this case, we are only using LTM. LTM is one of the module of load balancer that is called application delivery controller. ASM is for security, web application firewall. And GTM is your global traffic manager. By default, it will assign your CPU and RAM. So there is a concept called nominal. When you want to use other modules in future, you should use nominal always here. Let's say you want to use, your customer says, I don't want to use WAV or intelligent DNS. Then there is an option called dedicated. In that case, if you select dedicated, it will not allow to use another modules, guys. In future, might be they want to use WAV with same license. They want to use GTM. You cannot use it. So always use nominal. Nominal will allow another modules to also get provision. Can you see? In your free license, you can provision LTM, ASM, GTM, that is called DNS, intelligent DNS, WAF, web application firewall, local traffic manager, AVR, application visibility reporting, that is to troubleshoot slowness issues. Your layer 4 firewall, that is called advanced firewall manager. Then you can use secure web gateway also. I was talking about forward proxy, but here you can see unlicensed. For that, you need a dedicated. It does not come with your free license. iRules, CGNet, SSL also I cannot use. By default, you can use modules. Now, there is one more concept, minimum. In dedicated means, let's say in your F5 you got a key. In production environment, guys, when you get a key, you need to ask customer, do they want load balancer only or do they want a security features also? That is WAF. That means application security manager, ASM. It protects from all OWASP top 10 attacks, guys. This is another demanding technology which I will start after this course completion. This is in huge demand with Palo Alto, guys. Very less people are certified in this technology and are not working. Mumbai, there are a lot of demand happening in this. Hyderabad, Mumbai, your Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Singapore. There are very huge demand of this product with load balancer. One more feature module which comes in big IP is GTM that act as your intelligent DNS solution. So local traffic manager is called LTM, GTM is called global. Let's say your application is hosted in different data center and you want to load balance between them. In that case, GTM comes into picture. I want all traffic should go to DC. If DC goes down, I should go to DR. In that case, intelligent DNS comes into picture. So if you want to use all these modules, you need to request F5 accordingly so that they can generate a license accordingly. I will show you one thing. These are your all modules which comes with license. Some you don't get it, but these are your main modules. Your local traffic manager, your intelligent DNS, ASM, APM is called your SSL VPN or single sign-on solution. AFM is called your layer 4 firewall. But nowadays people don't use F5 as AFM. And this is called your forward proxy. You can use F5 as reverse proxy and forward proxy. So they have separate, this is for management plane and control plane, you can say. And this one is called your data plane, where your traffic processing is happening. You have separate SSL engine in your hardware, compression engine, full proxy, I rules, local traffic policies, all are included. That I will discuss later on. But I wanted to tell how your ADC is defined. What is ADC, guys? Anyone? Application Delivery Controller. This is another name of your big IP product. Load balancer is also called ADC, Application Controller Device. So don't get confused. We are studying F5 big IP LTM now. And LTM is called your local traffic manager. Why? Because you are only load balancing within a data center. That is why it is given a name local. As an interview, I will ask this question. What are the persons available in today class? Let's say Ajit. Ajit, what is the difference between LTM versus GTM? I can ask this question. What does L define? What does G define? Simple question. And this is a question which will be asked in 101 exam also. You should know what is the purpose of LTM, what is the purpose of DNS, what is the purpose of ASM and APM. So LTM is normal load balancer for load balancing your application. It has different other features which we will be studying. DNS is called your global traffic manager, intelligent DNS. It helps you to load balance your traffic against multiple data centers. ASM is your WAF that protects from layer 7 attacks. At least you should know APM is your IPsec VPN or sorry, it is only SSL VPN. ROMAT, some people say it is called remote access solution. AFM is your advanced firewall manager that is called layer 4 firewalls. And why F5 is called full proxy? This will be a questions coming in your 101 and 201. So what does it mean? I told you, right? Let's say this is F5 device in between. F5 is called full proxy. Why? You will see. Till this, there will be one TCP handshake. So this is called your front end traffic. And from F5 to the server, this is called your backend traffic. So F5 is divided your front-end traffic and back-end traffic. So there will be a separate TCP handshake here and separate TCP handshake between F5 to the server. And F5 has a capability to view and modify your traffic behavior through HTTP headers. So this traffic can be encrypted. Your front-end sessions can be encrypted. This can be unencrypted. Means your client to virtual IP. When you access your website on HTTPS, that is encrypted. But between F5 to the server, between communication from F5 to the backend server, it can be unencrypted. So there will be two dedicated sessions, one from client to F5, one from F5 to the server. That is why it is called full proxy model. One can be on HTTP2. It does not have any dependency on this connection. It can be on 1.1. These are the version number of HTTP. So two, three questions in 101 exam will come from it. I will cover that content whole also. And this is how your TMOS architecture is. There will be a full proxy device coming between your user that is sitting on internet and your servers that is used for load balancing. Your application Sianets.com will be hosted here also, here also, here also, and here also. So it will give you security, availability, performance, and load balancing features. It will help you to secure your application, optimize, and load balance. Very, very important. What are the advantages of load balancer? It will turn your infrastructure into good agile application delivery network. You will eliminate the downtime. Your application will be available 24 into 7. You can scale up your application infra, improve application performance, secure your application, server capacities will be increased. How the delivery of application is coming. So you will say availability, security, and performance, ASP. Someone asks you about advantages of a load balance, you can tell this. Now let's come into, this was all about your architecture. And now let's talk about the traffic flow, TCP handshake. So you have client, you have virtual IP, and it's listening on your AT. Let's say website Sianets.com. And then you have a pool member where your application, original application is hosted. Pool member is nothing but your web server. Some people say web server, some people say backend server also. And some people says application server also. So how traffic will be, you can see one is in green and one is in blue. Separate client and server connections. It means there will be a three-way handshake from client to F5. Then only HTTP GET will come. Once HTTP GET is there, then there will be one more three-way handshake between your load balancer and your server. Then that HTTP GET, which is fourth, your F5 will transfer to server. So F5 works on HTTP GET and response, means HTTP request and response model. HTTP is which protocol, guys? Layer 7. And that response will go to client. And finally, you can view your website. You can open the web page of sianets.com. This is the whole infra in a backend, how you get a website on your web browser. Now let's come into the lab part again. So there is a nominal. I'll select nominal. I'll click next. Now it will come your date and all the things. So you can use device certificate default. Don't do anything here. Click next. Now here you can give host name of your F5 guys and your time zone. Very, very important. We are in India. So I will give Asia Calcutta. And I will give host name big IP 1.com. Full host name you have to give with .com. And password it will ask for change. So I'll say new password. Please remember this guys. If you forget, then it is little difficult guys. Because you have to recover, it is sometimes difficult to recover. So whenever you change any admin or root password, please note down in some notepad. And here you can see SSH access guys. When you are in production environment, you want this to restrict from some of the segment. I want only from this segment, your F5 is reachable. So you can apply a restriction on SSH IP allow. Every part is important here, guys. So specific range you can give. Now next, whatever is mentioned in blue, that is mandatory. Host name, root, whatever is blue, it is mandatory to fill. See, it is also giving me short password, so I'll change it. I have to remember it. Note down in your notepad. Final step has come, guys. You have to configure these steps. No, guys. People will ask me, you will face a lot of issues. I am sure. Please note down this. Don't configure this right away. Don't click next. We will configure network and HL later on. Just click on finished, please. Don't click here. Then you will ask, sir, I am not able to do the my lab. Very, very important. Don't do this. Just click on finished to complete today's lab. So I'll just say finished. And your F5 box is ready for your customer. So it will take few minutes and you can be ready to deploy your load balancer. That is your applications and other things. It will take some time. So this is how your lab should come. Your all the tabs should come after this. And we will work in this training on load balancer part.